Hello, and welcome to Paris Picks. I find myself watching a lot of product review videos, not only on lockpick sets, but on other tools as well and other products. I think it's a great source of information. And I wanted to record this video to bring you along my lockpicking journey and talk about the tools that I have chosen to purchase and what I think about them. I find myself consuming a lot of YouTube. In fact, it's probably my primary media source. I don't watch a lot of TV, and I haven't watched the news, especially in about 10, 15 years or so. And honestly, I think I'm better off for it. I, like many others, watched Lockpicking Lawyer, Bosnian Bill, and Lock Noob post their videos and thought to myself, I can do that. So here's where it all started. The Genesis set of the Covert Instruments. There have been plenty of videos reviewing this set, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here. But I will say that quickly after I got this, I discovered that I do enjoy the hobby. And I wanted to expand my capabilities. Also, this was before the Echelon set came out. You can see that these handles don't have the Covert Instruments logo etched into the scales like the sets do now. So I was looking at a good supplementary set to the Genesis lockpick kit. And I decided on the Southord C1500. It has a nice range of hook profiles and a handful of rakes. One of the things I don't like about this particular set is only about half the tools come with the scale handles. The other half of the tools are a flat piece of metal. And honestly, I would have gladly paid about $5 to $8 to $10 more to have everything come with a scaled handle. But it's kind of a minor point because this particular medium hook was my favorite out of that set. So this one does have a handle. The ones that are probably most going to be used have the scaled handles. This little worm rake, city rake, and the double ball rake or snowman. Also about this time, I picked up the SS Dev hooks from the Sparrows site. Now these, they come in a variety of thicknesses, 15, 20, and 25 thousandths. These particular ones are 25 thousandths, and if I were going to order these again, I would probably opt for 20 thousandths. Also, about that time, I decided that I would like to be able to pick top of keyway as well as bottom of keyway. And I find that the turners out of the Genesis set, even though they're double-ended like this, for me, and maybe it's a point of technique that I could improve upon, it always seems to fall out here because I'm putting kind of sideways leverage on this shape, and for me it always had a tendency to fall out of the lock, whereas a pry bar like this, it's more apt to stay in there as it falls out. One thing I didn't know, and if you're looking at this set of Sparrows top of keyway turners, make sure you get the, quote, heavy bars. At the time I thought, well, I don't need that. But the heavy bars are 50 thousandths, and this American 1100, that top of the keyway is 50 thousandths. So this fits in there pretty snug, whereas the 40 thousandths that comes with the standard set is a little sloppy. So that's my recommendation if you're going to order these Sparrows turning tools. I forget if it was that order or the next Sparrows order I placed. I picked up this Dark Shift XL, I think is the name of the set. It's the expansion set for that their Dark Shift pick set. It's comb picks and warded picks. I bought these mostly on a novelty. I think the set was either 10 or 12 bucks. I have yet to use these warded picks, but they fit nicely in there in this Tradecraft case for the Genesis set. And it's just kind of a novelty to have for me. One thing I will say about the comb pick here, this is the Master, I believe it's 140 that is susceptible to this attack. The teeth on this are about maybe 0.2 of a millimeter too long. So you push it up all the way in there, and then you hear that? It gets stuck. You actually have to back out a little bit, and then you can work the comb pick. So I thought that was kind of strange that they left these combs a little bit too long. Would I buy this set again? Probably not. But again, it was 8 or 10 bucks or so. So not too big of a loss. This all fits nicely together, and I like the shape and the format of this Genesis case, the Tradecraft. I like it a lot. Here's some of the other profiles for the C1500 Southord that you get. These are the ones that I don't really use a bunch. We get a half diamond, a couple of DeForest rounded profiles, and this little triple peak here. Also from the Sparrows, this is the Medusa pick. It's based on one of Locknoob's design. You know, I tried this out a couple times, and it just felt kind of chunky for me. This is kind of a hybrid pick. It's designed to rake a little bit, flip it around with holding the same tool in your hand, and single pin pick the rest of the lock. But as it is, this one stays stashed away in this overspill bag here. I can't remember what Sparrow's order it was, but one of the things I picked up is this goat wrench here. And again, it was $6 or $7 on their site, so I thought to myself, what the heck? But honestly, this is $6 or $7 wasted, in my opinion. Here's the practice tubular lock from Covert Instruments, and you can see that it just slips. right out of there. This distance is too big to properly engage. See, that's the basically 180 degrees there, and you put tension on it and it just slips out. So I would skip this one if you're considering buying that for tubular locks. Also about that time, I picked up the Sparrow's Reload Kit, and this is something that I think is a good value. It has a couple of pinning trays, some decent but small pinning tweezers. And then I went to a local craft store and bought these little Tic Tac containers, and they're such that 4 of them fit nicely in this to keep all the key pins, driver pins, springs, and other little miscellaneous bits organized. Because it just, the kit from Sparrows just comes with a bunch of Ziploc bags. So this is a good buy, in my opinion, the Reload Kit. Now, it was about this time that I decided to engage in the LPU belt ranking system. I submitted a video for the American 1100 for my green belt. And I made a decision that, I want to engage in this belt ranking system. And that being said, I need to have some additional tools to cover not only pin tumbler, but the other locking mechanisms as well. Tubular locks, disc detainer, and dimple locks, to name a few. So one of the things I bought out of that decision to engage in the belt ranking system is this the Sparrow's disc detainer pick. I have a couple of disc detainer locks. I have not had a bunch of much luck picking anything, even a practice lock. Although, to be fair, I haven't spent a whole lot of time using this. But this is something that I'm sure will come into play as I progress and pick more locks and add more locks to my collection. One of the things I did that I thought was helpful, might be to you, is I took some white nail polish, a little toothpick, and painted this line around that last indicator mark. Because it's easy when you're in the lock to know where the bottom is, okay? Because the pick tip will stop in the lock physically. And then you can find the first disc, and then you're counting basically backwards. But notice how the tip can slide off here, and also sometimes you can get this angled so that your tensioner can slip out if you go too far back. That's why I want to know where that last disc must be. So I painted that line on there. I think it was I think it will be helpful in my picking endeavors for disc detainers. This is, of course, the Huck dimple lock set. I've taken a bunch of these, most of these picks, and cleaned them up a little bit, shaped them on a simple Dremel or grinder, also smoothed out the shafts a little bit. It was basically a choice between this and the Honest Dong set. And I chose the Huck set. Basically, well, it was actually Lady Lock's comment that that's the only set that she uses. But also Georgia Jim echoed that. in his review of the dimple lock sets on the market. Lots of people have reviewed this, so I'm not going to say too much about it. I am going to make another video after this one about the process I'm going to use to finish the last two profiles in this set, which are the large curved profiles. So be sure to look for that if you are interested in getting some tips on how to finish these. And let's move on. Also, about this time, I put together an order from, I think it was lockpickmall.com. They have a lot of the Goso and Chinese products, including these acrylic locks. This, the Detainer pick, rear tensioning, I picked up, and I think it was Locknoob who made a video on modifying this so that it would work in, I forget what lock he was picking. So I bought this with the understanding that I would have to modify it. And granted, it was only $10 on the site. I do think it's funny, however, you know, that this is the Detainer practice lock. That won't even fit in their practice lock. So if you buy this expecting it to work right out of the box, you are going to be very, very disappointed. So spend $10 on this to get a nice set of handles, a good tool to modify, but understand that you will have to heavily modify this for it to be usable. And I did, so I'm not disappointed about this purchase. I am disappointed about this one, however. Now on the site, there are, of course, several options for these tubular impressioning tools. This is one of them, and it says in the description that this works on 7.5 and 7.8 millimeter, of which 7.8 millimeter is the most common. But again, Covert Instruments practice lock does not fit. So this tool says 7.5 millimeter on the handle, and it is 7.5, not 7.8. So don't make that mistake. I actually don't have any 7.5 millimeter locks. Right about this time, I was enjoying my picks, but I wanted to get some that were more comfortable, made from better steel. I don't know exactly what Southard uses for their 1500 set. And that one medium hook that I showed you earlier, that was very serviceable for the American locks that I was picking. But I knew I wanted some new picks, some different picks, different manufacturers, and some really good quality. So the first in that line, in that train of thought, was this set from Peterson. Now, love them or hate them, these are really decent picks. This is the Las Vegas set in 19 thousandths. It comes with 4 different hook profiles, including one of them being the Peterson gem. Out of these, this medium hook has been my favorite. That looks like H7. Also out of these, since I was beginning to build some redundancy in my picks, sets, and duplicates, I took these two picks. This is the short flat hook, and this was a medium rounded hook. And I cut a little notch in that. I was playing around with a Medico cam lock that was on loan to me from a locksmith acquaintance. I made a video about that, not picking it, but just the workings of the Medico cam lock. So go check that out if you're interested. And that little notch really helps with rotation of your Medicos, because you can pull and push with the same pick placement. And that worked out really well. That lock turned out to be a little beyond my capabilities at this time. My next purchase was kind of a big one. This is the MultiPick, the beginner set, and the 0.5 millimeter add-on. And one of the things I really enjoyed about this set is it has a lot of hook profiles. And I enjoy single pin picking over raking. These are wonderful profiles, absolutely fantastic picks. And I bought this set with the understanding that I would be able to expand and fill it out as I acquire more picks and more profiles. This one, for example, is the small half diamond from the Southord set. And it fits in there. This case is organized, you can see, into the pockets, but some of these pockets are larger. The ones in the back, in this middle section here, we have a spot where the stitching doesn't go all the way through. So even though this handle is too big to fit in here without really stretching out the leather, these ones fit nicely in there. Also about this time, I heard Sandman talk about Jimmy Longs and thought those look really cool. Now Jimmy hasn't offered other thicknesses for a while now, but the sets that I got are in 15 thousandths. His flat hooks and rounded hooks. And even though these are in 15 thousandths, I really enjoy these handles. They're very, very comfortable. And the case being only $9 with the pick order is nice. One last thing are these Culvert Instruments top of keyway pry bars. Now I kept this one out, the Sparrows. This is the Sparrows Heavy Bar at 50 thousandths, to do a side-by-side comparison of these, because the Culvert Instruments is a really superior to the Sparrows pry bar, in my opinion. Because, let me line these up really evenly here. You can see that Culvert Instruments is about maybe 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little less than 1/8 of an inch longer. And what that allows is for you to fit it in this American lock And this is all the way engaged, and it fits absolutely perfectly in there. Whereas the Sparrows, you put it in there, and that, see how it's not all the way engaged, and it will have a tendency to fall out. Whereas this one, see how it's just all the way mated up there, and that cut, this dimension is just absolutely perfect for this particular American style lock. The last thing I want to mention is not a pick. It is this little 3-inch bench grinder by Harbor Freight. Now, it comes with this little flex attachment for Dremel bits. And this to me represents a tremendous value. Now, it's not the best bench grinder in the world. The motor is actually fairly weak. But that being said, this list price is $50. And you can wait for a Harbor Freight coupon for 15% off this or 20% off that. And it's not uncommon that you can get a 20% off any order under $50, which puts this at $40. So either this is a $40 bench grinder with a free Dremel attachment, or it's a $40 Dremel that comes with a free bench grinder along with it. And for shaping picks, for touching up the profiles, especially the dimple lock profiles, this is a great tool, in my opinion. Anyway, we've come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. And tell me in the comments what you think about my tool choices. Have a good day.